In order to go and discover something new, we need to start from something familiar. That's why at the beginning I would like to mention the thing you know for sure. As you know from the fundamentals of economics, there are three production factors in the market economy, namely labor, land, and capital. You need to have these three in order to produce something. And each of those production factors has its own market separate from the others. The prices for labor, land, and capital are determined by the demand and supply in these markets. And of course, in our course, we'll focus on financial market, which is the market for capital resources. So now let's take a closer look on it. There are three groups of economic agents who operate at financial markets, and each group may have different objectives. Individuals, also known as households, generally tend to save more than they spend. That's why they generally act as net capital providers to the market. On the other hand, companies and governments generally tend to borrow more, thus going to financial market to raise capital. Also, both individuals and companies, and sometimes the government, may use financial markets to hedge their risks or to protect against some unfavorable price movements. In order to achieve their goals, individuals, companies, and governments can act either directly or indirectly using various financial intermediaries like banks, investment funds, pension funds, and so on. In our course, we will not pay specific attention to whether those agents act directly or indirectly at the market. Now let's define financial market in a more formal way. Financial market can be thought of as any kind of marketplace for securities and other financial instruments who are bought and sold there just like any other goods and services. However, financial market can also be defined as the set of economic relations based on asset allocation and risk distribution. This idea is particularly important because a financial instrument is not a traditional good or service. It doesn't have its real value. So that's why this is the capital which is actually bought and sold at financial markets. However, on the other hand, these are the risks which are also traded there. We can think of any kind of financial instrument as money packaged in risks. So that's why every time we trade those instruments, we also trade the associated risks. Financial market contains money market and capital market, as you already know from the financial markets and instruments course. The difference lies in the term to maturity of the instruments traded. Money market is the market for short-term instruments, while the capital market is the market for longer-term instruments. In our course, we will mostly focus on pricing of capital market instruments, so that's why I will put the equality sign between financial market and capital market, using them as synonyms. However, most of the theories we'll be considering can also apply for money market instruments as well. I have already mentioned financial instruments several times. Now it's time to recall a clear definition. We can define a financial instrument as a real or virtual document involving some sort of monetary value, which can also be thought as an easily tradable package of capital. Here I would like to focus on four important words, which I highlighted in this definition. The first one is agreement, or a contract. We should keep in mind that each and every financial instrument is an agreement between two or more counterparties, where one of them, also known as issuer, is obliged to pay a specific amount under certain circumstances, or to provide some other material rights, like voting at the shareholders' meeting. Another word is value. As I have already mentioned, financial instruments do not have real value. That's why this is the right represented by the financial instrument, which has the true value. And those rights can be traded separately, which means that trading a financial instrument means trading the rights represented by this financial instrument. And of course, we should keep in mind that this is the capital which is bought and sold at this market, not the financial instrument itself. In our course, we will consider financial instruments and financial assets as synonyms in order to avoid confusion. There are 5 major types of financial instruments which correspond to the definition we have just talked about. Those are securities, derivatives, foreign exchange, bank loans and deposits, as well as insurance products. At this point, some students ask me, what about gold or other precious metals, for example? Can we treat them as financial instruments? Well, the answer is no. Indeed, at first sight, it may be unclear because we know that commodities are traded at exchanges along with other financial instruments, and many individuals and financial institutions hold them for investment purposes, not for consumption. So what's the reason? The answer is rather simple. A piece of gold can be someone's asset, but it's no one's liability. It simply exists, and this is not an agreement, this is not a contract. So that's why we are not considering commodity pricing in our course.